Peace. Once again, I had to plug my phone up at 12%. Peace. What's the deal? Consistency is key. Made a promise to myself. I was going to go live at least once a day, every day. Yeah, so. But consistency is important for everything. You must be consistent. Just like Derek Ross, peace, hit that like button. Peace. Hit that like button for a real person. I ain't AI. Hit that like button for a real person before you go back out. If you come in and out, hit that like button. Hit that like button for a real person. It's all good. Being consistent. You know what I mean? Training day. Every day is a training day. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't training, but you got to train everything every day. It's good to train. No days off. Your mental, either it's your mental or it's your physical or your spiritual. You're training every day. You're training something about yourself. And you can't never take days off on the spiritual. But even a part of training, one thing I learned from boxing, a part of training is resting. So even when you're resting and you're recovering, you're training. So mentally, you always, you got to stay on your game at all times, 24/7. You know what I'm saying? But that's my philosophy. That's how I do it. You know what I mean? I don't even really have a subject for the day. I'm really gonna just talk about whatever. You know what I mean? On the spot, Johnny on the spot. You know what I mean? Today I was I don't know. I was trying to take time off. I'll be dialed in so much to certain things. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, man, you gotta take some time off. Mentally. You gotta take some time off. You know what I'm saying? And I was watching this other. I don't know. I was real interested in. I was watching these guys. These kids they got a magnet. They magnet fish, and they was finding all types of find a lot of valuable stuff. You know what I mean, with the magnet and in the water. Like in rivers and lakes and stuff like that. But I don't know. I found that very interesting. I like stuff like that. Even when I used to watch TV, I used to watch like Antique Roadshow, Storage Wars and stuff like that, because it seemed like people would always find, valuable stuff, you know what I mean, in those places. So definitely them guys fishing in the river with a magnet, that's something that would activate my curiosity. Trip and tell, peace. Hit that like button for a real person. You know what I mean? Basically, changing the reality, one day at a time. You know what I mean? Be more ghost. Peace. Hit that like button before you go out. Hit that like button. It ain't gonna hurt. Definitely ain't gonna hurt. A lot of stuff you see on the internet, man. It's fake as hell. a lot of fake stuff. That's why I say, hit the like button. Hit the like button for somebody that's real. Yeah, I ain't believing in these people running the game. They running the game on real people. Mary Haywood, peace. Hit that like button before you go out, or if you stay in, talk to me or whatever. But a lot of fake stuff. I'm looking at some post on Instagram. This is like, about the Palestinian conflict, and it ain't real. I mean, no, I ain't saying a lot of stuff that they putting out is not. It don't look real. It look like movie props and stuff like it. Just don't look real. I know that sounds crazy, but yeah, a lot of stuff don't look real. That's why I try not to get bent out of shape about it. Yeah, before I shifted into a different way of thinking, I definitely even when I was in the sleep state, I used to watch the news a lot, and this is back in the early mid 2000s and stuff like that. And I used to always, every time I would turn on TV, you would see something about the conflicts and the war, Afghanistan, Iraq. That's really what it was at that time. And Muslim people were being basically targeted. Especially Arab Muslims was being targeted for a lot of propaganda, a lot of fake type stuff. You know what I mean? And even at that time, when I was in the sleep state, I got tired of it. I just was like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just day in, day out. You know what I mean? Only thing they, keep putting up this stuff about these people. But then I knew a lot of people personally, being a Muslim person, you know what I mean? I knew a lot of people that personally, who were from Iraq, who were from Palestine, North Africans and all that kind of stuff. I knew these people personally. I worked with them. They were like kind of like some of the best people that I ever came into contact with. So, I definitely didn't believe in the propaganda, even though they make a separation between us as people, the so-called American black Muslims and Arab Muslims and even African Muslim people, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I kind of got away from the propaganda thing way back then. I never was into it anyway. I ain't really care what the news said about nobody, because we've been saturated with propaganda about our people here for years. The media portraying us in a negative way that's not true. All black people want to do is get high, make babies, stay on welfare, and all that different stuff. And I always knew that wasn't true. I always knew it wasn't true because, my family wasn't like that. My family was hardworking people. My parents were, educated. Other educated people was in my family. So I just knew that it wasn't true. But a lot of times, me working with and being in contact with people that came from overseas, Erica Butler, peace, hit that like button for me. By me having a close contact with people from other places, people really used to be programmed to think a certain way about me and my people. But, then when they would come in be in contact with me and have conversations and develop relationships, they would start thinking, "Oh, you're different. You're different than everybody else." And I'll be thinking like, "I ain't different. You just think you just got the wrong perception of what us as a people. You think the only thing we about is entertainment, rap music, dancing, playing sports and stuff like that, being ignorant, all that kind of stuff. It's not us. Actually, we like all people. We you can put us in. We encompass every kind of facet of personality or way of life. You got people that's strong scholars, strong athletes, and spirituality. You name it. We encompass everything. But a lot of people coming from overseas, I definitely know from experience they will have a negative way of looking at it from their programming coming over there. You know what I'm saying? But even I would fall out with certain groups in the workplace. Not fall out, but they would just look at me different. They just knew not to play with me in certain ways because I was aggressive, especially when I was younger. But they always assume that you want to shuck and jive. You know how it is. They want me to talk that cool stuff, or they think anything related to bullshit. They're assume that you with that, or that's that's just where your mindset at, or if as a man, they always assume that if they talk some shucking and jiving about women or sexing women and stuff like that, that's the only thing you want to talk about, stuff like that. And I just I never embodied that energy. I always embodied like the energy of trying to learn something. Keeping my head up, walking with my head high, you know what I'm saying, and striving to be, a noble person. So I just never got into that. So some of them, they didn't know how to take it. You know what I mean? You always gonna get that kind of thing. Nip Z. Peace. Hit that like button for a real person. You know what I mean? But that's a little bit of what I encountered, working with overseas people. And the more you delve into like studying how people are perceived, how we are perceived, and also how other groups are perceived even by us, is you find that it'll be incorrect because it go both ways. Because I used to perceive, to a certain degree, the propaganda put on us about, let's say, how all white people are, so-called white people, or how all so-called Arabs or Africans, some people from the African continent. It's trust and believe. Like people, they be walking around thinking that, it's just them thinking a certain thing about us. We think things about them too. How it is. You come up being raised a certain way, basically being raised not to trust I was raised to not trust so-called white people. I mean, that we just was raised that way. Not we wasn't raised to do nothing bad to them or nothing like that, but we was definitely raised to not trust them. That's like second nature. Don't trust them. But it go both ways. You zigzag back and forth. You take heed to you take heed to the upbringing. You take heed to it to a big degree. But and you learn. So it goes up and down with certain things, But then when you really are saying, you realize that all white people ain't devilish in nature, and all so-called white people ain't the same. They just not. It's just not like that. In the same way with Arab folks and how we perceive. A lot of people perceive Arabs and stuff like that. A lot of them, you got some good ones, and you got some straight up evil ones. That's the truth. African people. Well, the people that come from the continent of Africa, I don't like putting everybody from Africa in the same box, because that's stupid. That's dumb. Once you learn, and understand that, you have multiple countries. You know what I mean? it's multiple countries. So just saying somebody African, it ain't correct. But all Africans ain't the same. Same way all the peoples that live in the United States ain't the same. You know what I mean? You got multiple states / countries inside of the United States. But all of the perception, the false perceptions is one of the things we gotta get away from. You know what I mean? As the whole world gotta get away from perceiving each other the wrong way. You know, and at least try to strive to get to know people outside of what you heard, you know, outside of what you've been taught. You know what I mean? That's the only way. That's the only way. You know what I mean? If you don't, this stuff really, it really affects me when I see the certain things, because I just know it's just a recycling of the same things. Because most of the conflict in the world, all the stuff was based on propaganda. I don't care if you go back to World War II, you go Vietnam, Korea, all of this stuff was based on to have the ability to do what was done. It was based on propaganda, because the people ain't gonna support it if it ain't if they don't believe in it. But we stop being on belief. You know what I mean? Belief ain't, you know what I'm saying, ain't gonna get you nowhere. You gotta know what's going on. You gotta have people on the ground. You gotta have foots on the ground so you can know. Because if you don't, you'll believe that it's okay for you to send your children to a foreign country to die for a fake cause. How many people got family members that died in these conflicts? You know what I'm saying? How many people? You know what I mean? Or people that's over there right now as we speak that don't really know what's going on. You know what I mean? Over there, hit that like button. And I just truly know. I don't believe. I know that we need to know what's going on. We need to know what's going on in our own. We need to know what's going on in our own country. You know what I mean? But you got to start where you live at. You know what I'm saying? I'm in here. I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So guess what? I will start here, knowing what's going on here. You know what I mean? Dealing with what's going on here, trying to affect what's going on here. You know what I mean? Try to raise the vibration of the people that's here. You know what I mean? Try to help the people that's here. You know what I mean? First. Then going to go outside there. Jen, peace. Hit that like button. If you come in and you come out, hit that like button for me. But hey, that's the only way. And guess what? Anybody who's like-minded, like what I'm saying, hey, start doing what you got to do to raise your people up, raise yourself up. You know what I mean? Then we can go outside our box and try to affect the outside world. You know what I mean? If everybody start out affecting their world and helping their world, the one meaning the reality they living in, and then we all come together, boom. Then we can start making changes. But if you got people living in a certain place, people living in Philadelphia, but you living in Cleveland, and you worrying about what's going on in Philly, but it's craziness and bad stuff and things that need to be dealt with in the city of Cleveland, but you worrying about what's going on in Philly, or you worrying about what's going on in Baltimore. You ain't focusing on the right things. You need to focus in on yourself and focusing on what's going on exactly where you living at. Start helping that and bringing that up. Then you can look outside, or then you look outside to find people in these places that are like-minded like yourself, and then you connect with them. Because you don't want to be just even jumping on the cars. You looking outside of where you living at, and you looking to some people that's asleep. in a sleep-minded state, and they want to tell you to pick up a sign and start marching and protesting and stuff. Ain't no protest. The best protest that you can have is to protest something is for you to change yourself. You know what I mean? Change where you know what I mean, in your crib, on your block, your road, where you at. You know what I'm saying? Change that and bring up the vibration of where you at first, and then link with like-minded people. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you need to do. You know what I mean? Cause all this cake, cause more chaos. You think you getting on what's the word? You trying to link with people, you know, because you think they talking good or they being good or whatever, and you don't know nothing about what they talking about, or you don't know what's going on. Yeah, come on, man. Everybody, you just like the parable, the snake eating his own tail. Dog keep constantly chasing the tail in circles. You know what I mean? People don't know, like, protests don't change things anyway. Politically, they just don't. You know what I mean? It don't change anything. You know what I'm saying? It don't. That stuff don't change anything. And even if you don't get one extreme to the next, you going to, you know, don't change stuff. Plus, you know what I mean? War ain't the answer. Not to be on some super peaceful stuff. But war is the answer in some, you know, meaning you know, having to do stuff. It has its place. You know what I mean? Physical fighting has its place. You know what I mean? But, you know, the answer to really the stuff that's going on now, war ain't the answer to it. War ain't the answer to it. The answer to it is people becoming more informed about reality and changing their mindset and raising their vibration. That's the answer. Learning, you know what I mean, getting on some higher stuff. Learning the truth. If you learn the truth about, let's say if you learn the truth about geography, and you start realizing that some of these land masses are not what you think they are, or they bigger than or they smaller than what you think they are, or they are in different places where you think you are, or maybe you learn that the map is backwards. All that kind of stuff. Learn about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Get aware of it. Learn that. Let's say the physical, the physical reality of the plane that we live on, the Earth plane. Learn about that. And then maybe it'll carry you into something else higher connected to it. Like, oh, that's why they want us to think like that, because of this, because of that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you know what I mean? Okay, boom. Don't always look at people who saying things that's foreign to you, things that's weird to you, or things that's just weird for a melanated person to say, man, I ain't black. That's weird. So people like, what you talking about? Niggas running around talking about he ain't black and stuff like that. That sound weird? Then investigate, you know what I mean, what's behind that. Because there ain't no such thing as no black nation. There ain't no such thing as no white nation either. You ever think about that? You know what I mean? Okay, person say, you might see a light-skinned, pale-skinned person, and they might say, yeah, well, my grandparents came from Poland. Okay, Poland is a country. Okay, but Poland ain't white. It ain't, you know what I mean? Poland, historic. You see what I'm saying? Then you learn history. Polish people got all different shades of people that come from and originate from Poland. So Poland is a nationality. So stop calling yourself black. Stop calling yourself white. You know what I'm saying? Even, you know what I mean? All of that. Get into it. And that it'll allow you to go up. You definitely will. But stop looking at people like they tripping just because even so-called black people, melanated people in America, start looking at people when they tripping, when they start saying, okay, even though this is a never negative thing, call yourself an Indian or whatever, because, you know, let's say real Indians didn't used to call themselves that back then. So you still got to learn real history and to realize what them people was calling themselves back then. No, they was being called Indians by foreigners, by people, you know, not from here. But getting closer back to like reality, you might go through a stage where you're calling yourself Indian. But then guess what? The old people in your family used to say they was Indians. But then it'd be like so-called, black people will be like, oh, you trying to be something you ain't. Yeah, of course I'm trying to be what my grandma said, at least what my grandma said that we was. I ain't trying to be, because guess what? At least my great-great-grandma, she was a Seminole. And my great-great-grandfather was a Cherokee. Okay, cool. Cherokees and Seminoles don't produce Africans. There's nothing against Africans. I got love for Africans in Africa, for sure, right? But guess what? Why would I want to call myself something that I'm not? Getting back to common sense, you know what I mean? Why would I want to call myself something I'm not? I know my grandparents straight up wasn't that. All right, but getting on higher stuff, get on higher stuff, like start understanding what you are, and to get with like-minded people, right? Because why would somebody from a country inside of the continent of Africa want to deal with you if you don't know who the hell you are? Why? The same way, why would I want to deal with somebody? That's like you got somebody coming from so-called the continent of Africa, right? Okay, or Europe or wherever, and they talking some old craziness, calling me black, and that's where they understanding and everything is. Like, I'm gonna look at them for, I don't want to deal with nobody like that. I don't want to deal with nobody like that. Not on no higher stuff, like on no, like, really we trying to establish something like schools for learning or just anything. I don't want to deal with them because you don't even know the truth, man. You still sleep. You know what I mean? To call somebody over here a color out of crayon box. See what I'm saying? So like, it's just, even if you can do all of that, man. Like, come on, man. That's just like in any city. I'm from Germantown, right? Inside my city, I'm from Philly, right? Germantown is a section of North Philadelphia, but Germantown is like kind of separate the way you perceive in Philly than North Philly, but I'm from Germantown, right? So I'm from Germantown, but all of a sudden I'm saying I'm from 22nd and Lehigh, or I'm from, and all the people from 22nd and Lehigh are gonna be like, yo, you know what I'm saying, man, you ain't from 22nd and Lehigh. What are you talking about? That dude ain't, man, you ain't from down here, right? I'm like, man, I'm from 22nd and Lehigh, and I keep saying that. Or when I go around other people, I go out West Philly, and I'm saying, yeah, I'm from 22nd and Lehigh, and I'm saying that. But these people out West Philly, they know that, man, that ain't from 22nd and Lehigh, man, he from Germantown. Why you keep saying he from 22nd? And they gonna be looking, the people from West Philly gonna be looking at me like the dude from Germantown, like, why he keep saying he fake and he fraud? You see what I'm saying? So that's how even people from start asking people from so-called, you know what I mean, Africa. Is American melanated people really from Africa? They're gonna laugh at you. They're gonna laugh at you because they know they ain't been taught that, and they know damn well that you ain't no African. That's just something small, but I'm just saying it's something big. It's very big. But like I said, we're not the only ones, you know what I mean, over here that's been bamboozled into thinking that we something other than what we are. Even pale-skinned, light-skinned people, they'll tell you if they go back, especially if you start talking to people that's in their 50s and 60s and 70s that's still living and around, they'll tell you that their grandparents, their grandpop or their grandmom spoke a different language. And their grandmom or grandpop told them that they used to be urged and forced not to speak the language that they were speaking, that from wherever they came from. Or they was, if you got a grandmother or grandfather that came over here in 1900, 1910, 1920 or whatever, and they was told to say that they was from somewhere other than where they was from. Come on, man. We ain't going, I'm telling you. A lot of people identity ain't they real identity. And people ain't really like who they because they don't know how to. I'm just saying everybody is twisted. So only people that's gonna really be on sound footing is people that do their own due diligence and find out based on facts who their origin is, and it's all written down, man. Ain't nobody just floating around here. Ain't no just no free people. I mean, meaning there ain't no records of who you are. You know what I mean? I already knew who I was back to a certain point. You know what I mean? And I knew the names of my grandparents and all that stuff going back to the late 1800s, like 1890 something, like 80 something and all that, right? All right, cool. That was easy. That's easy. But then I went back even further than that, right? You know what I mean? And I ain't find no slaves. I just found farmers, a couple porters, and farmers, right? And you didn't see no slaves, so-called slave stuff. You know what I mean? All types of census stuff on the census, and what you can see where people was changed from this to that. All of that stuff, right? You know what I mean? But that's what you gotta do. That's why, I'm like real solid on that tip. And I'm standing on it. You know what I mean? But I think everybody needs to do that. Everybody needs to Miss D, peace. Hit that like button for me. I think everybody need to do gifted badge. Just got the #1 gifted badge. Okay, I don't know what that means, but yeah, stuff popping up on the line. Everybody need to get into that for themselves, and just start knowing who you are. You need to wake up. It's okay. It's okay to be woke, because it's other woke people out here that you can talk to. You know what I mean? And the Most High God, Allah, He gave us TikTok. He gave us Instagram, so we can really connect with each other on these platforms. YouTube. You really, you ain't really gotta be to yourself like that. Meaning like you ain't gotta imagine that you're the only one out here having these so-called deviant thoughts, like deviating off script. Okay, I done deviated off script. I deviated off script. Like, I don't believe in nothing mainstream. I done deviated even off the mainstream religion that I was on all my life. I don't disbelieve in the law of the Most High, but I know that they changed that. So I dig, and I'm digging. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? If you real and you ain't AI, we could develop a, you know what I mean, interaction and just a friendship. Even if, man, we don't got to talk. There's plenty of people that I got like some affection in my heart for them on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, just on what they talk about, just on the videos that they drop. I feel that for them, and I have good thoughts about them. You know what I mean, about them being preserved in this reality. So you ain't really got to feel like you by yourself, or you ain't got to feel that way. So I always say, like, just imagine the people that was around 25, 30 years ago. Ain't nothing new under the sun. It was people talking this stuff back then in the 90s, in the 80s. I know it for a fact, but it's just that back then I would be like, it was way too far over my head back then. It wasn't my time. It wasn't my time to be on that. I know I'm one of them old heads, like Young Bucks be like, because I used to meet old heads, and they would have dread, they would have locks in their hair and everything. It'd be the old head. He'd be like, yeah, man. And we'd be talking some ultra religion stuff, like, could be on Islam, right? Mainstream. And we'd be talking some ultra Islam stuff. And he'd be like, yeah, I went through this. I was in the Nation of Islam. I was just Sunni Islam. I know all about this, that, and the third, the Hebrew Israelites. All the different stuff, and what they would say, I understand all that, but when I'm on now, it's just that and the third, and we'd be like, yo, man, the old head, man, he off it, man, he on this and he on that, he messed up in the head, something happened in his life and got him away from the religion and all. This is what we would say, and you know what, I would really be believing that about this brother or this sister. I would think they off it, not knowing that it's information out here. Thank you, Try Jesus. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. Me not knowing that it's so much higher information, there's so much higher stuff that you can get on, higher than, like, let's say, mainstream religion. I'm not telling nobody not to, believe in a religion or whatever. I was looking at the 1850 census. One of my relatives was a farmer who owned their farm. Yeah, in 1850, right? Same thing. I got the same thing. I got grandparents on some of my lines back in that. They was literally born in 18. One of them was born in 1859, and the other one, they was all in there in the 1850s and 60s and all that. And on the census, like on the census, they were not. They were like Negro, or colored. Well, I forget what it was, but it was they weren't white, but they were colored. So I was, first thing I put on my mine is, oh, you in South Carolina. One of my grandfathers was born. He was born in I don't want to accept nobody into the live, because you got to get to know me and all that before you come on the live. Is this? Hold on. I don't know. I can't. I'm new to this live thing. And then one time I let somebody get on my live, and they just started talking a bunch of crazy stuff. So yeah, But the one thing that I noticed, that one of my grandparents was born at this time, and they wasn't even, and they was classified being a colored Negro or whatever, but they were not like slaves. You know what I'm saying? And they had. And it was like wife, grandmother, grandfather, all of my, I guess, aunts, uncles, and all that stuff, all living. You know what I mean? Nobody was classified as no slave, right? And one of my grandfathers was born in Cherokee, South Carolina. All that stuff. Come on, man. So really, once you start studying and you start looking into the stuff, and you desire to come off of the programming, you're gonna find all you need to just know that all of the slave stuff is not true. And it's not the slave stuff from the movies. Even if you was under some type of servitude, or you was on a plantation, working on the plantation and all that stuff, a lot of people, those are business agreements. And see, people don't know about debt, like debt jails. Mike Salim, what's up, my brother? Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, one of my homies. But debt, the way that debt and stuff like that was, the way business was done at that time, debt, you could go to jail if you owed somebody money. So everything was under contract. So if you was under some type of contract of servitude, and you run away, or you got a 5-year, 10-year contract for whatever, you work in the land or whatever you're doing, and you run off on the contract, you know what I'm saying, on the person that you were contract under, then you had like bounty hunters for that kind of debt. So they just changed the name of stuff and then started making movies about it, where it's called the slave catchers and all that stuff. No, it wasn't. They wasn't running down slaves. They was running down people who owed debt. These were like people who was chasing down people who owed debts through contract for servitude in one way or the other. You see what I'm saying? So another thing, to understand, you have to understand the past to know what's going on right now. And you have to be in the mind of somebody. You have to be in the mind of the people. Like, you want to understand, like 1865 or 1860, let's say the Civil War, whatever. You can't understand 1865 or 1860 unless you're in the mind of the people of back then. You have to be in the mind of how they used words, how they used different words. You have to be in the mind of how they did business. You have to be in the mind of how life was then. You cannot weigh up life back then and understand life back then based on the mentality of living in 2023 or living in 2010. You can't, because it's a whole different way of things, whole different way of speaking, whole different way of living, everything. You got kids. I got kids. My kids that was born in the year 2000. I got a few kids that was born between 2000 and 2007, right? Okay. Do you think that any of them children can understand how life was in 1992 or in 1995 when there was no cell phones and people had beepers and paper? No, they don't know about that, because it's something they would really have to listen to somebody who was living back then, or watch some type of documentary. Hey, Mike Salim, hit that like button for me, man. flood that like button for me, Celine. Yeah, and what I'm about to say. They will have to learn to understand or overstand the mind of the people living in 1992. They cannot weigh it up as what, because we don't think people that was living back then, we know we was living in 1988 and 1985. We not the same as these people, what they call them, millennials, right? We not the same as millennial people. We don't even think the same as millennials, right? Okay. So if you really, we gotta understand the difference in how people thought and how things. So guess what? Business was done. So even with that slave stuff, you really got to get into that. Everybody was under, because when I haven't necessarily read, I have read books because I got a book called Confederate Cherokees, but I also have listened to like umpteen lectures on the issues of like our so-called founding fathers being slaves, but they wasn't slaves; they was under servitude. Benjamin Franklin, Frederick Douglass, John Adams, all these different people, Thomas Jefferson, these people was under servitude. But then the people, when they hear, they be, oh, they used to be slaves. No, they wasn't slaves. They was under servitude. Everybody was under servitude back then, because everything was under contract. And the more you get and start understanding everything is under contract, and then people was under contract, you understand that. So what's the big deal, Celine? Yeah, boy, I appreciate that. Then you start. Hit that like button, man, jam that like button up for me. Then who's the author of the book Confederate Cherokees? I gotta reach for it. I can't reach for it right now. I'm gonna let you know. But you can easily Google it, Confederate Cherokees. That book, it's an orange book. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. But being in the mind of the people at that time. Being in the mind of the people at that time is the way to figuring out how things was done back then. Everybody was under servitude. But why they try to make it special, where so only so-called black people was under servitude? Everybody was. You know what? And so if they tricked us into believing that it was something that it wasn't done like that, and it was like another way of looking at it, they can trick us into not understanding that we are all under servitude now, but now that is, I'm not gonna call it servitude, but it is. We under contract. Everything that we do in this reality that we living in now, we're under servitude. I mean, we're under contract. You're under contract for everything, even if you're on welfare. Even if you go to the DPA system, you have to sign up. You have to have a Social Security card and a birth certificate, and an identity, and a fake behind ID card, right? And then you have to sign yourself over it. They're trying to hide how great milk. Yeah, that's one of the ways how they hide it. They hide who we are, who we really are. We're the originators of all of this stuff. Not just the builders as slaves and all that different stuff. No, it was ours before it got taken over. It's really ours. It's really ours. Everywhere. I don't care what continent you're on. It belongs to us. But a lot of people don't understand that being under this contract system that we live in, you have to sign a contract in order to get a job. You have to sign a contract in order to get life insurance or burial insurance. You got to sign a contract. You have to be contracted under that. You have to sign a contract in order to go to a school or a university. Just like I said, even with welfare and stuff like that, you can't walk in there without no birth certificate, no Social Security card, no ID, and get on that. You have to be contracted out on that. You can't get no job without it. If you get a job without that, then they call it under the table. And the government got a problem with that. The government got a problem with you just making a contract with a handshake with someone, and you say, well, what's wrong with that? This is what free people do. Free people write up contracts of agreement with witnesses and things of that nature. That's a part of the law. But that's how free people deal with issues. But guess what? We not brought up on that. We ain't brought up on freedom. We brought up really on being under some form of jurisdiction. A lot of people don't know that having a driver's license, right? A driver license really ain't for everybody. You wanna know why? Because according to law, a driver's license is a license for someone transporting goods, persons on public highways. Meaning, you have to be doing one who is driving is doing commerce. You're doing commerce. That's someone who's driving. If you're not driving, if you're not driving, and if you're not doing commerce, then you're not driving. Legally, you're not driving if you're not doing commerce. So if you just coming out your house with your kids and you transporting them from your home to their school and back, that's not legally driving. Legally, that's traveling. And it's crazy, but people like, ain't just Moors. Moors ain't the only ones that been saying this stuff online for years and years and years. You got people that's like so-called white that's like real diligent with law stuff. And they not moving around with driver's license because they know that really the driver's license is just another way for the law to extract money from the people by convincing them that something is a necessity. But really, for a free person to move around in the land, that's a God-given right. Especially we're supposed to be in a free country. That's a God-given right to be able to move around freely. Well, yeah, a driver's license isn't a right. It's what you call a privilege, right? It's a privilege. See, when people get into the license thing, then you're paying for this privilege. Whereas though traveling is a God-given right. So what they do every 3-4 years, you got to re-up. You got to pay for a new license. So it don't seem like a lot. It's only 30, whatever it costs now. In Pennsylvania, I think it's about, I don't know, it even went up. It's like $32 or something like that, whatever. But you gotta understand, you got 3-4 million people in the city of Philadelphia alone. So we ain't talking about Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, and everything in between, Reading, Pottstown, Allentown, all these different. Imagine. So just imagine how many the numbers on that. Every 3-4 years, that's a lot of revenue. That's just a lot of revenue. And this is revenue that's not really lawful. You get what I'm saying? So many different ways that we being tricked. We being tricked. Hey, hit that like button, y'all, for me. Hit that like button if you can. If you keep hitting that, if you think about it, hit that like button. So I'm trying to get to a goal. I gotta go. I want 10,000 likes. You know what I mean? But soon, one day. But it's a thing. It's a thing that we gotta start educating ourselves about all of these different things. Because one thing after the other, the more you dig in, the more you realize, like, yo, I've been asleep all my life. And then and even more so, you be like, wow, they've been robbing us with no gun all our life. Robbed my mother, my father, my grandmother, my grandfather, been robbing us for years. Even paying taxes is not even legal. It's not. But we don't get enough into it as common sense individuals to realize that the tax thing is unlawful. You don't have to pay tax. I can't get into all the specifics of the law, but that's something for somebody. Taxes ain't lawful on free people. If you go into the history of what the so-called war of the America against England, the United States, against you, we have to have an open mind and stop hating on melanated people who say they are not from Africa. Right, we'd have to do that because what about the melanated people that's in Australia or in the Melanesian or the Melanesian Islands or all over there? Man, you got people look just like us right over there. And what they came all the way to get over there? Nah, it's melanated people everywhere. The whole plane. It's just like Public Enemy. Why you think they fear of a black planet, man? That's because that's really the reality. Europe, all that stuff is originally, melanated people. But you know what I'm saying? So everywhere you know what I mean. I forgot what I was just talking about, but one thing leads you right into the next. You know, studying so you know what the. Oh yeah, I was talking about the Revolutionary War, right? Wasn't the Revolutionary War was based on. You know how they teach you in mainstream school, right? Back in the day, you in elementary school, and they say, "Hey, the Revolutionary War was based on taxation with no representation." Right? But we go to work every week, right? No, that's cool. You're not interrupting. I'm glad you interacting and you talking to me. Yeah, I'm glad you're talking. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? The taxation with no representation. That's what they doing to us. That's what they doing to us. Hey, Francisco, maybe I don't want to. You know, in the future, I gotta know who you is before I pull you into my life. But I appreciate it though. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to get off my focus and start, and then I don't know how to turn you off if you're saying something I don't want to talk about or whatever. I don't know how to turn it off yet. Like, you know, get somebody off the live. So once I learn that, I'll start allowing, you know, I'll start. I want to talk. I want somebody to come on and talk with me at the same time, and we can like build a forum and all that. But what I'm saying is, let's say if we look at all the money that's been taken from us, let's let all the tax. How much tax money been put into, like, let's say space exploration into NASA? We talking about like they got like trillions of it's trillions of dollars go into like space exploration every year, right? And and that's all the money that from working goes into that, right? All right, cool. Kush House, peace. Hit that like button for me. But then as you study and you realize certain things, you may come to find out that there's no such thing as outer space. It sound crazy. You got NGAs, you got NGZs, whatever on here. It ain't just melanated NGZs or whatever. You got all types of people on here talking about in detail that it ain't no you can't go through the dome that's covering it, right? It sound crazy, right? So okay. So all of this tax money over the years is going into space exploration, right? This tax money is being sucked out of us, is being represented for space exploration. But then so how you gonna feel after you realize that it ain't no outer space? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Hey, but guess what? Some people they love their place in the matrix. They want to be sleep. Me, I don't have that. I don't have that. I never had that luxury. You know what I'm saying? Everything. That's true. You have to question everything. It's called and you got to use your discernment when somebody's even telling you something. Even like, okay, if somebody listening to me and they hear something, whatever, that's you have to use your discernment. So that's what you have to do. You have to do your own due diligence and find this stuff out, because it's not, you ain't gonna get it just off listening to me or listening to anybody else on TikTok or YouTube. You're not. You're gonna have to got to do something for yourself. You're gonna have to do some. Okay, Elon Musk, all these people, man. The more you dig, you start realizing some of these people are characters. These are characters. These people are characters in a big show for the people. Just like politics, all of this, like elections and all that stuff. That stuff is just theater. It's theater for the people to have something to look at and for people to get into. And it don't matter how much money you got, because the money thing ain't real anyway. That sounds crazy, but I'm just saying it's not. It's not. But too much of certain things is not going to help nobody. It's just going to be just do the scrambling. But having knowledge of yourself and who you are and where you come from and what you really truly connected to is what everybody should be doing. Whether you highly melanated or you're lowly melanated, everybody got melanin. It's just that some people got more than others. But guess what? They got us thinking that the melanin thing is the end all be all, and it's not. But a lot of people ain't ready for one thing to the next. You know what I'm saying? They ain't. They not. So you got to deal with. You know what I mean? You got to deal with people on like, yeah, we gotta that's right, homie. We gotta let the people know. But it's a little bit at a time, man. It's just like, remember back in the day when we was in the boxing gym, right? And we first started boxing. What Gino will have us throwing that jab, man. We be in there throwing that jab for a couple weeks before he really go into like really showing you how to throw the right hand, the number 2 and all that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go through steps, because we ain't just learning stuff. We're unlearning things. We simultaneously learning and unlearning at the same time. You know what I mean? So unlearning, we have to unlearn the fake stuff and learn the real and the authentic stuff. I don't want to say new because it's not new. It's just we never knew it. You know what I mean? The earth always been a plane. This is why they call it aeroplanes. It's just a lot, man. Come on, man. The Bible, the Quran, all of that stuff, man. Don't talk about no ball. But hey, if you don't want to know, then you ain't never gonna know. And if you don't know and you don't care, then yeah, we do have to unlearn all of the garbage. We've been fed garbage from we like the garbage pail kids. Remember them back in the day? We like the garbage pail kids. We've been fed all garbage all our lives. All our lives. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad, and I'm not singling, but there's a history connected to. Yeah, we do. But for the lazy people, we need to keep reading. We have become lazy. Yes, you're correct. We have become lazy as people. But that's why I suggest for people that either they don't read that good, or me, my eyes like ain't as good as they used to be. So I can't read as much as I used to, like, because of my eyes. You know what I mean? Unless I got like a lot of light on the book, right? But if you can't read or don't read or don't whatever, start listening to like audio books, buying a book in the audio book form, listening to lectures. You can get a lot from listening. And then if you good we need to start reading. Yeah, that's a master number you just put. Yeah, it's a master number. That's for completion. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, you know what I mean, how the kids go, when the babies just go through the thing, is 9 months, right? Yeah, that's a master number. But and numbers mean something. All of that stuff, you see what I'm saying? All that different stuff started from me. Yeah, you know what it is. You know what I mean? All of that stuff is from me just dipping into information at an early stage, whereas though, like, let's say 8 years ago, being upset about just social stuff going on towards so-called black people, and I saw one video. It was a video that was on it was called Why Black Children Inherit Dust. Right? It's probably still online somewhere. You can find it. It's called Why Black Children Inherit Dust. So this dude was doing a crazy, insane breakdown on this documentary about why, basically saying why black children don't inherit nothing. Why everybody else, all other children, Chinese kids, so-called Jewish kids, all these different kids, they inherit, whereas though like black children don't inherit dust. And then that he got into all the stuff with the legal aspects of, and this dude is not even somebody that was saying he was a Moor or nothing like that, even though I think he's Moorish, but the legal aspects of being black and how it's a legal destination, or all that difference, how people was denationalized, and that melanated people, African Americans ain't Africans, all that different stuff, and how the land and all the stuff was stolen from black people. So boom, I'm like, yo, boom. But then it all came in the line, because my mom, she told me. She was like, yeah, Grandma, I always used to be excited. And I always liked the Indians. I always loved the Indians and just the whole Indian story and all that. I always loved it. But my mom was like, yeah, Grandma Josie was a Seminole and Grandpapa Arthur was a Cherokee. So I always had that in my mind. Even since I was a young, you know what I mean? My grandchildren will inherit that, as they should. That's why we have to preserve our libraries. You know what I mean? And it's good that we should preserve our statements. Now we can preserve our statements in video form. You know, because even after we long gone, somebody, even if I go today or tomorrow, you can go on, my kids or whoever want to know what I was talking about or how I was living, they can go on they can get my stuff offline somewhere, because I've been talking. So we can preserve a lot of knowledge through video and all that stuff too. But that video, you should try to find that video if you can, because that's like a classic video. Why black children inherit dust, and that stuff's. And once I got in the dude in his channel, and he's kind of like on the, you know, what they call conspiracies and stuff and all that. But it's cool. But it was very informative. And then I found a channel. It was called African Americans Ain't Africans. So I started following this guy, Kerry Davis, right? And they also had like a Facebook thing. And this is a while ago. This is back in like 2015, 14, 15, 16, whatever. It was a while ago. It was definitely a nice little while ago. Okay, yeah. Find it. That's actually a classic joint. And that video, with Kerry Davis. But then all of a sudden, you know, like when oh, did you? Yeah, that guy, that guy, he's one of the he's one of the chosen ones. He was chosen to, you know what I mean, to wake a lot of people up to that aspect. So definitely, you know what I mean, he deserved a shout out, and Kerry Davis, and he deserved respect. Also, well, like I said, you know, like when you start getting into watching these kind of videos, like let's say on your YouTubes and things of that nature, the algorithm thing, it'll start sending you similar stuff through there. And I'm telling you, listen, something came through, like these so-called white boys, they did like a flat earth thing. And so you had this one dude, he was talking all this dreamy stuff and the search for Shambhala and all that, and he was talking all this Antarctica stuff, right? But it was like, I like stuff like that. It was very interesting, right? And they was talking about the flat earth thing. So I just looked at it, and I was like, damn. And I just kept looking at different people's videos, different stuff. And I was like, yeah. I said, okay. And then from me looking at that stuff, overstanding and understanding a little bit, this dude, he got a channel. You should memorize what I'm saying, these channels, right? This channel, 432 The Drop. I started watching. I found 432 The Drop. This young brother. I ain't say little, but he look like he a little younger than me. Like I'm 51. This brother got to be around. He could be 40. He could be 40. He's a little younger than me, but I'm just saying. That's when I seen him, and I was like, I looked at his video, and I was looking at it. I was like, okay, and I was like, damn, baby bro, he's smart as hell. Yeah, flat Earth, hollow Earth, all that stuff it's real. It's real. But I was looking at his videos, and man, this dude is amazing, right? 432 The Drop. This brother is he's in California, right? Man, he dropping a lot of stuff, man, history facts, and he just talking. But I was like, yo, this bro, I said, baby bro, smart as hell, right? You know how we be. I was like, yo, yeah, bro, smart, right? So I followed him for like a couple years. So it's funny, I always was impressed by Chief Cutter. I follow Chief Cutter. Yeah, like I didn't always like connected with the UMF, United Melanated people and all that stuff. Yeah. And matter of fact, it's on my bio. If you look on my bio on this page, you'll see the UMF thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, he definitely. Yeah, you gotta UMF. You gotta. That brother is strong too. But definitely follow 432 to drop, cause they teaching over there too. They teaching. It's the same swirl of information. But I gotta tell you, through 432 to drop, I told you, just like stuff be coming down you know what I mean, on your algorithm and all that. Boom, I ran across this Moorish brother. His name is Asir, the Duke of Tears. Boom, telling you, like, this brother is an amazing individual. He's an amazing teacher. He's like genius status. His brother is definitely like somebody. 432 to drop. You're right, exactly. But also, I gotta tell you, follow Asir. You gotta follow 432 to drop, and follow Asir, the Duke of Tears. Right, yeah, the Duke of Tears. Right, tears like tear, like Tiers, like the Duke of Asir, the Duke of Tears. You know, like tears levels. And he's a Moorish brother. So the information you want to. You know, you can zigzag back and forth cross, because he's really strong on history, but he's also I think he has degrees in like something jurisprudence with law and stuff like that. So like, no, these brothers is highly intelligent, and they really, maybe I'll say maybe a little more than 432 drop is more. He articulates too. Like this brother is strong as hell. But Chief Kata, like all these brothers is, man, these brothers are strong. Man, these brothers is bulletproof. Even what I said is very, very, tears. Very, very articulate. But me being myself, I am actually a Moor. Right? I always was a Moor. It ain't something I just became. I was a Moor genetically. I'm a Moor. But Indians is Moors, Moors is Indians, and all that stuff. It's all, you know what I mean? It's all in a circle of things. You know what I'm saying? You know, so that's just like. But you might find you might find even on certain channels you'll hear stuff, because inside of the so-called conscious community and the Aboriginal community and the Moorish community, you'll hear it'd be disagreements and it'd be strife going on inside of these circles. So but it ain't about what he so-called believe, or he so-called believe. I'm a truth seeker, and everybody name who I just mentioned, they drop in truths. Though they do have their own personality, they have their own overstandings of things. No, that's good. I'm ready to go to bed too. 144. I got to screenshot that. 144 on the time. 140. Let me see. Can I get it? Yeah, I was trying to screenshot. I ain't get it, but 144. I like that. But everybody got their own. Understanding, whatever, you know what I mean, of this information that you running across. And you know, I'm my own man. I'm my own man. So in order for you to get free, you're gonna have to think your way out of this situation. That's what I'm saying. We ain't gotta be walking around with no picket signs and all that. Get with yourself and get into, you know, your inner, go internal, go inside. Stop going outside. If you go on TikTok and you run across somebody like me that's dropping some type of, I'm just really point you in the direction. I just said two different channels, but even then you said Chief Cutter. Yeah, no, it's another one. These is, if you want to get, you need entertainment, entertain yourself with getting information. Chief Cutter, I said the Duke of Tears. 432 to drop. You got another brother dropping some. He gets on my nerves sometimes, but he dropping some real truthful stuff. You know what I mean? Just the brother Karameo, Ohio. You got a lot. It's a couple. It's a few more. that I definitely like for that kind of information, that kind of stuff. Yeah, Earth Speaks. Yeah, I'm gonna check that. I think I heard of that channel. But if you need entertainment, you need then to entertain yourself with getting into the truth. Stop watching TV and foolishness, you know what I mean, for entertainment. Stop killing your time with foolishness and kill your time listening to some of these brothers talk. Because you're going to learn some new things. And mostly what I'm going to be talking about is similar issues, but I may not be as articulate as them or as sharp, but I'm going to point you to the direction, just like I just did by dropping those names. Get into those channels and control your emotions. Because going into any kind of situation, if your emotions is not in check, then you can be led astray through emotion. So the race stuff, all of that kind of stuff, it's an emotional thing. But you have to have enough emotion, have enough love. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I am. I'm trying. Well, I'm doing it. But, I mean, the emotions always have to be in check. It's funny, I'm a boxing coach. And I teach these kids from a very early stage. When you're in there, when you're in the ring, you don't fight off emotion. You teach them the guy to get hit with a good punch. Don't be so hyped and don't get mad in there. It's a boxing fight, so you're gonna get hit with shots, but you have to control your emotions. So the mentality of boxing is always applied to everything. Though I was emotional at one time, because when you start, the more you learn, you do develop. You get mad, you get angry, but if you keep rising, if you on the right tip, you're going to deal with that. You're going to bring it down, and you're going to be like, okay, the only way I'm going to escape is I got to think my way out of this. Even now, to this day, like right now, I'm in this situation, whatever, in life, I got to think my way out of it, right? I can't panic under pressure, right? So once you start getting this new information and you start learning, your world going to start changing, right? So you got to think your way out of it. So, but ain't no buts. We gonna do it. Control your emotions and just keep digging. You know what I mean? But I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? I think I'm gonna jump off. I appreciate y'all connecting with me. The subject of this thing was really staying consistent. So I'm glad I got on, and I'm glad I had a chance to talk to y'all. I'm trying to stay consistent because I told myself I'm gonna go every day. So God willing, inshallah, I see y'all soon. Peace.